is another Dungeon Masters Guild Design Dash. I can hear myself talking. Okay, cool. I muted myself. How many times have I done this? Hello, everybody. I see lots of folks loading into chat. Hi, Cursive Sabs, Right Jess. Oh, Snap Dad, Ashley, nice to see you all. This is Dungeon Masters Guild Design Dash episode 2. If you missed the first episode, we are a fun game show where 3 of our best-selling writers from DungeonMastersGuild.com are given a design challenge in 15 minutes to design an encounter or maybe something else. They don't know. I am Lysa Penrose. I'm community manager for Dungeon Masters Guild. And my co-host today, who is this very intimidating still photograph, is Matt McElroy. Matt, introduce yourself. It was a super zany time. We had Jen and Alex Clippinger and Oliver Clegg. And after the episode, we put up a poll on Twitter, and everyone voted for Jen Vaughn to come back. So she is our repeat challenger, joined by JB Little and Anne Gregerson. We're going to go through, and they're going to each tell you a little bit about themselves, so you can get to know our contestants before we just drop them into the arena to fight to the death. Anne, you're a little bit frozen for... Oh, no, you unfroze. Yay. Oh, okay. I see. Maybe a strategy to survive in the Hunger Games. Very good. Oh, you didn't get that email? Oh, this is awkward. I mean, it's too late now. We're live. So, people are saying no audio on the guests. Oh, and they can't hear Matt. This is on me. That's weird. All right, y'all. This is fun. This is a fun...
Hello.
Okay,
Check.
Let's see.
Hello.
Okay, I'm seeing bars moving. Chat, can you please confirm for me if you can hear people now? Also, sorry, I only just noticed. Okay, we can hear peeps. The joys of live production. All right, Matt, reintroduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Matt from DM's Guild and Drive Thru RPG. I had such a fun time in the first episode that I'm very much looking forward to tormenting everybody again this episode.
Yay! And Anne, no one heard your worries and concerns, which is great. Don't repeat those.
Okay.
Do introduce yourself.
I'm very confident and happy to be here, and I'm sure I will take home the crown.
Yes, your check is in the mail.
Yeah, I'm Anne Gregerson, and I make stuff on the DM's Guild, usually related to... Those are the main 3, and I do well at most of them, generally speaking. And I mentioned it before we started, but I am nervous because I will be writing and designing in a language that isn't my own, because I am in fact Danish. So while it might be early for you, I've had the entire day to freak out about this. So that's lovely. I'm very excited.
In your entire day you spent freaking out. Is there anything you did to prepare for the Design Dash arena, if anything?
I read through my old campaign notes and to see if I had any old ideas that might be good, and I was disappointed in my previous self, so I've just been doodling and running around the apartment pretty much, asking my roommates about, like, what would you do if you were in this very tense situation? Like, what would you do? And they're just like, I don't know. So, not very helpful. It's great.
Yeah, low self-esteem and imposter syndrome. I think that a lot of creators can relate. That is a mood. Not sure if I'd recommend it to get hype for a game show situation. But speaking of other creators, our other new challenger this week is JB Little. Most of you know him as Drop the Die. JB, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is JB Little. Most of you know me as Drop the Die on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Steam, Epic Games Store, pretty much everywhere. I am also a DM's Guild creator and author and horrible editor, so always outsourcing that. You're going to see that today if you look at anything I write. To prepare for today, I ate 1,000 moths. No, I
Oh.
didn't do anything. I woke up and took a shower and felt bad, and now I'm here, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm putting on the great face. They called me grim before we went live, so I'm trying to not do that.
Would you say, did you feel bad before or after you ate 1,000 moths? Because I just feel like that could be correlated.
It was before. The moths give me power. They're fuel.
Okay, maybe too much
Great.
power. Maybe 999 moths next time.
I
Finally,
think you've been making too many menus for taverns.
Yeah, I will not be touching. This is an official announcement. I will not be making a tavern in or tap room for at least a couple months. Okay? Enjoy.
and finally, our return champion of episode 1 Design Dash is Jen Vaughn. For folks who might have missed your intro last time, what should people know about you?
Hi, my name is Jen Vaughn. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as the Jenya, and I am a narrative designer for a Seattle-based video game company, Very Very Spaceship. I am also a DM's Guild creator, and a new book I'm in is coming out today called Beyond the Basics. I got to draw the cover, and it's full of beast-based encounters. So that's sort of what I did to prep for today, was just like I zoomed in on the encounters. Jeff Ellis helped put it all together, and then I also did make 2 mini pizza bagels in the shape of Anne and JB's faces, and then eat them to absorb their power.
Oh no! Do you think? I wonder if that canceled out the moths, or maybe you got 1,000 moths.
Oh no! Oh. No.
Well, I mean, there is a loophole that basically means that Jen and I will lose, in that Anne can just write in Danish, and we can't prove it wrong. She has to
Oh my
win.
god!
Yes, exactly.
Oh no!
It also helped that in true Viking fashion, I am consuming the blood of my enemies.
Oh no! Oh snap, Dad!
So
And
stay on my good side, Jen.
says in chat 99 problems, but a moth ain't one. And then TK asks, how many are too many pizza bagels? That is a great question, and also a great future Design Dash theme. But if everybody is ready and raring to go, I shall present to you our theme, which celebrates a few things that have been happening on Dungeon Masters Guild and D&D in general. This challenge has 2 parts. You will be designing an encounter. You will have 15 minutes to design. The theme is let's make a deal. And the extra challenge is it must include a random table of some sort. So let's make a deal with a random table. It begins now. Let's see, on my computer, it is 11:08 a.m. So I'm going to do some maths in my head. I believe that means we have until 11:23. 23 past the hour. Everybody jump into your design docs. Feel free to, the designers, to mute Zoom so you don't hear me and Matt chatting. But hi, Matt. How you doing?
I'm really good. How are you today?
I am doing all right. I'm very excited to see what everybody creates. And while we chit-chat, I might bring up at least one person's design. Let's see.
Now, I'm not allowed to make changes, right?
No making changes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make this window bigger. There we go. Showing up right. So, Matt, can you guess what inspired this theme? Or this 2-part theme?
Well, I would say it's the awesome Random Acts charity bundle we have going on in the guild right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it actually ended at like 9 a.m. today. So that's a bummer. But we do charity bundles. And our latest one, a very loud car is driving past me. Our latest one was for this awesome nonprofit called Random Acts, which we discovered or learned about, I believe during the D&D Live event?
Yep. I was outside playing Pokemon, and I ran into Rachel on the street, and we just got to chatting about D&D and causes, and I said we should do a bundle, and then we ended up doing a bundle.
Yeah, and so Random Acts is a nonprofit that encourages random acts of kindness. It can be small random acts of kindness that anybody does every day, or it could be raising funds to help like open a new school in Nigeria, I think is the example they have on their website. So like really big, cat butt. Really big acts of kindness and small acts of kindness. Everything kind of can brighten someone's day or change someone's life. And so that bundle was really fun, where it had all adventures and supplements that had random tables in them, which was pretty cool. And then there's a second part to this theme. As well, which is Let's Make a Deal, which is that everybody is all about the new D&D book that's come out.
Exactly.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avernus, First Layer of Hell, meeting devils, making deals with them. Spoiler alert, you're going to hell. You're going to make some deals. And then speaking of awesome deals, we have two bundles that are out now supporting the new book, and they kind of have different parts. There's a Hell Rider bundle for players, which is $6.66. I believe you save 76% off of the titles in that one, and they're all titles for if you're creating a character for this campaign or looking for like champions of good or evil in a character. It's all different player options, some of them made specifically for Descent into Avernus. And then the other bundle is the Archdevils bundle for Dungeon Masters, which has, I think, some 4E earlier edition Hell supplements to kind of give you lore on Avernus, the Blood War, basically all 9 layers of Hell. I think there's 2 of these classic supplements, and then another of other supplements created by community creators on the Dungeon Masters Guild about the Blood War, about statting out different devils that you can use, basically anything you'd need to supplement a Descent into Avernus campaign, or if you wanted to expand on the campaign, there's adventures as well.
Yeah, and people can click the big banner on the front page, and we've got 4 other very cool new titles featured as well.
Yeah. One of those is one of JB's. He'd mentioned the taverns, taprooms, and inns, which he created that like details some like really flavorful, rich locations. And I haven't actually had a chance to read through all of his new one, but it's that, but in hell. Some amazing art and illustrations in it as well. There's a whole supplement that is all about making deals and the different parts of those transactions and how to role play making deals with devils. And there's even a solo adventure. If you don't necessarily have a group to play Descent into Avernus, there's a really fun adventure called To Hell and Back Again that you can play by yourself or with a group, and it has a lot of the NPCs from Descent into Avernus.
Yeah, I just grabbed that one this morning, so I'm going to dive into it later today.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me take a look at chat. Descent into a Furnace. Oh man, I'm really sad I didn't make that the theme for today. That would have been a good one. People are also saying pizza moths should have been a good theme. As we're chatting and you all are kind of seeing the beginnings of each of our competitors' designs, one fun thing we talked about in the first episode was rubric ideas. Ashley, I thought Lisa was going to be mad at me. I am a little bit mad, but also mostly at myself. So let me know, what do you think these Let's Make a Deal potentially hell-themed adventures should be graded on in a rubric that does not matter?
Yeah, let's see what people come up with for that. I was going to ask you, what is happening in your game with the new book?
Oh gosh, I am gonna be honest. We are still on Ghosts of Saltmarsh. D&D has been releasing so many great adventure supplements. We just started our nautical campaign. But of course, you know that meme where it's like the guy and he's with a girl and like another girl walks past and he's like looking around, turning around? We're a little bit like that with the new book, where we're super excited about all the really fun, like Mad Max racing, just really hype epic level adventure that happens when you're a low level character on the front lines of the Blood War.
Yeah, my book arrived while I was out of town this week, and of course I need to get back into my nautical game, which is set in Scarred Lands, in the Blood Sea. But I'm like doing the same thing. I keep picking up the new book, and I'm like, well, how can I jump ahead?
Right.
To yeah, so I have the same issue.
Right. Ooh, I just heard some stuff. I wonder who that was coming through from. Maybe
Jen, I think.
Did Jen make a face? We think it's Jen. We will deduct 2 points. That's on the rubric. Let's see. The more ridiculous the penalty for the deal and the number of clauses. Okay, yeah, I like that. Number of clauses to deal making. That will definitely be on the rubric. The Willy Boo says, I want to see contracts etched on baby dolls. Let's go. So creepy factor could maybe be on the rubric.
That's a good one. Yeah. See how many of them include rabbits from session 1?
Yeah. Rabbits. Maybe it's negative points for rabbits, because rabbits are so episode 1.
Yeah. If you reuse material, that counts against you.
Okay, interesting. So we actually have an on-topic question in the chat. Dice Ogre, you get yourself 1 point. The chat now also has a rubric that doesn't matter. And Dice Ogre says, I have a question for folks more knowledgeable at DM's Guild. Are we allowed to develop outside of Faerun? I'd love to make some Maztica or Oso stuff. Are those other places in that same world or plane? I'm less familiar with things that haven't been touched on in 5e.
Yeah, so pretty much anything Forgotten Realms is open. So we have a few creators that kind of hyper focus on non-Sword Coast regions to kind of make their stuff stand out a little bit. It's just like some of our Ravenloft creators do non-Barovian, so they can explore other parts of Ravenloft. So that's definitely allowed and encouraged, because there's not those areas haven't been really covered yet in 5th edition, so it's wide open for DM's Guild creators to explore.
Yeah, excellent. Make them your own. So Dice Ogre, just for those who are watching maybe the VOD and they don't see the chat, Dice Ogre also says, yes, they are unused continents in the realms. The short answer is yes. The slightly longer answer is if you go to our frequently asked questions, which are linked at the bottom of the site. It's like DM's Guild creator questions. And you click on those, that lists everything, like all of these settings that you are allowed to use, which are basically like the Forgotten Realms, Ravnica, Eberron, Ravenloft, and setting neutral things. So like you could make, say, like a town, or even a city or a setting in the wilderness that could be dropped into any campaign. Plastic Cage Plays in chat is really excited about Ravnica. Ravnica hype. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of other Dungeon Masters Guild news that we can share with you all. So coming up next month in October, end of October, beginning of November, is Gamehole Con. Both Matt and I will be there. And there will be a panel about Dungeon Masters Guild and getting involved there. So look that up in the events if you'd like to come say hi, or if you have questions, or you're looking for tips. I think Ashley Warren might be joining us for that panel. Is that true, Matt? Or Ashley, who's in the chat?
Yeah, she should let us know.
Yeah. Hey, Ashley, do you want to be on that panel? And separately, Ashley will be running a workshop. So she does the RPG Writer Workshop, which is one great way if you want to get involved in Dungeon Masters Guild, but you might be like a little bit intimidated, or you want someone to hold you accountable. to create your first adventure or encounter, check that out. She's a prolific DM's Guild creator, one of the guild adepts, and at GameholeCon she will be running an in-person workshop. So you should definitely sign up for that if you're interested in maybe doing that in more of an in-person setting instead of online. Let's see. Curse of Sebs wants to know, can I pay for DM's Guild content with the hearts of my enemies? You cannot pay with the hearts of your enemies. Also, we're not responsible if you've carved out the hearts of your enemies with the intent to pay for DM's Guild content with them. We do not encourage that among customers officially. Wink,
Not
wink.
while we're live, at least.
Yeah.
How much time do we have left?
You have, I believe, 3 minutes
minutes.
left. 3 minutes,
Cool,
creators. In fact, I'm going to post that in chat in case folks, although that might distract them.
We have a Magic the Gathering question in
Oh,
chat.
yeah, I missed that one. What's that?
Koi Keaton asks, hey, since Ravnica is available, would other Magic the Gathering realms be usable? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, at least for now. Ravnica has its official Dungeons & Dragons book, so that's what you can build off of.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions from folks who ask, can I be inspired by certain existing magic cards and make a spell or an item? And the answer is usually yes, if it is specifically tied to Ravnica. We do have to be careful about that. Let's see. The Willy Boo says, petition to convert pay what you want to pay with what you want. Thank you for your feedback. I will pass that along to the rest of the team for consideration and maybe to put into our development queue. Let's see. T-Rob19 wants to know, how about Planescape? Going from Sigil through the Outlines to Gate Town near Vernus. Unfortunately, Planescape is not unlocked for Dungeon Masters Guild. Likely until such a time as if D&D wants to bring Planescape into 5th edition, it would be likely that they would unlock it then. Although we really can't say till Wizards of the Coast lets us know.
Yep. We do ask for more settings quite often because we're all big fans of lots of the different worlds. But Planescape in particular is one of my favorites.
Ooh, it is 11:22 on my clock, which means there's 1 minute, less than 1 minute, for this design challenge. Chat, if you've not shouted in chat what you think should be on the rubric that doesn't matter, please make your wishes known. And then we will dive into some of these creations. All right. It is 11:23. I am going to go into the Zoom and type in time is up. Let's wait to see if folks are still intently designing. It's hard to tell. Anne looks so... Let's highlight all her stuff in red.
Just covered in flop sweat. Oh.
All right. Well, looks like everyone is hands off, done designing. Ooh, so many pages.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. I just see in
No
chat that
problem.
someone is saying kiss that imp. I don't know if that's something that was seen in one of these design documents as I scrolled through, but I prefer to just have no context for that. All right, let's make a deal with some random tables. Anne Gregerson, we're going to start with you. Walk us through your design. I will scroll through it with chat. Yeah.
So I panicked and couldn't really think of any infernal things to do, even though that was kind of the obvious route to kind of go with this. I was a bit disappointed in myself, but like what I immediately had was this kind of visual of a village, like this dilapidated village that they come upon, the adventurers, and it looks kind of in disrepair as if it's not really been tended to a lot, but there's just one building in there that's kind of way more impressive than the other ones, like a 3-story building. It's that whole thing. It has nice like wooden finishes and stuff like that. It's beautiful and way better than any other building in the area. And that is the home of the mayor, a human guy named Grindel Waldo, because I'm creative with names. And he approaches the adventurers because he has an inquiry. He wants to make a deal with them because he has found out that there's this creature, this thing, that is stalking the village and doing weird things to the buildings, unauthorized construction, and this is unacceptable in the village that he is supposed to be governing. And
that's fair.
Spending funds that aren't there is unacceptable behavior. And he offers a reward of 100 gold pieces, but that could be changed to fit whatever level the party is and so on. Also partially motivated by how much Grindel Waldo wants this to end. But talking to the villagers, if they choose to accept this quest, they actually found out that these mysterious constructions and stuff that's been happening have been kind of made by what they believe is a benevolent spirit. Like once a month, a certain repair construction appears that actually benefits the town in a way that wasn't really able, where you can roll a d4 to have a random construction appear, and there is number 1 is a new well, now made with ornate flower patterns. There is number 2, Grandma Wilma has a new patio constructed, very, very nice.
Oh, so lovely.
The orphanage was mysteriously repaired after a lightning strike. After a lightning strike burned the roof, the supply of insert fantasy equivalent of crayons was also restocked at the same time. And it says a love pond. I meant lovely pond. I meant lovely pond, not love pond.
That's maybe something different.
Kind of enjoy summer, yeah. And this is kind of strange. So if the adventurers choose to keep a lookout, they also told by the villagers this occurs once a month only, on moonlit nights where the moon is full. Strangely. So if they choose to stay the night and kind of just figure out what's going on, they actually see coming out of the mayor's house, they see a mysterious figure. Large, big, and burly, maybe standing 7 to 8 feet tall. It's a bear! But it doesn't move like a regular bear. It's walking on 2 legs. It has a straight posture, and this is actually a werebear. This is Mayor Grindel Waldo, who is turning into a werebear every month on a full moon, and must act on the nature given to him by this like curse of lycanthropy. He is bound by cruel destiny to go against his own nature and do lawful good things. So
what a curse!
He remembers nothing about this whenever he wakes up. He's just tired and grumpy because now someone has constructed something in the village without asking for permission. And the adventurers must now decide if they want to reveal who it is that is doing this and potentially inciting panic within the village and definitely angering Mayor Grindel Waldo, a man who has many powerful connections as he doesn't hesitate to tell the adventurers repeatedly. Alternatively, they can just leave the quaint little village alone, with the mysterious benefactor continuing to provide the township with random small blessings and acts of kindness, even though it's unbeknownst to the actual mayor of the town.
This is adorable, with multiple twists. So you only had 15 minutes to work on this. So I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about what that experience was like for you. How would you say that this bit of story, this encounter, how does it reflect your normal design process?
It doesn't. It not.
Amen, sister.
Not even a little bit?
Not even a little bit.
Okay, then how is it different then from your normal design process? If you were approaching this as per usual, what would differ?
I would probably have have this story kind of figured out in bullet points beforehand. Like, okay, I know I want Mayor that's turning into a werewolf, and he's doing it unknowingly, and he's making all these changes whenever he turns and kind of building stuff. That's the twist. I have the twist. Okay, I have this twist all constructed. Now I need to make the scene that the twist kind of occurs in, and the stage where the characters will explore and see this twist. So it's kind of designing backwards in a way, that the village wasn't made and the actual scenario that it is in isn't made. But the twist itself is what I like about this and what's making it kind of unique. So that's what I thought of first. With this specifically, I knew there has to be a table, so I was like, table. so I was writing kind of the description of the village, and I gotta go on autopilot when I go on like describing things. So while I was describing the village, I was just thinking about the table in my head and kind of thinking, oh yeah, but Grandma Wilma actually needs a patio, and that sort of thing. Just like really building on top of that and making a bit of characterization with the village so it feels more real, and the characters in it feel more real. So that can kind of be some interaction there.
Yeah, like, see, someone in chat has some feedback. Hold on, the color of their name is, let's see, DM Sarah says, I like this because the success condition is to not act, which is uncommon in D&D. It could probably stand to exist more often, adventurers being murder hobos and all.
That was totally what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So do you, when you, outside of this particular challenge, do you create your NPCs and antagonists early in the process, or do you wait until towards the end?
Definitely ahead, because most of what I do in the like a DM seat and so on, when I kind of do my own sessions and so on, I roleplay a lot, and what my players tend to really latch onto is both locations and it is NPCs, and I like writing NPCs the most, so I tend to really go in on that and writing characters that can be roleplayed in fun ways. I really like Grindelwaldo, and I think I might actually use this for my next session. I'm kind of in love with this now.
Yeah, I love that. I think that you guys were already designing when we talked about the inspiration for the theme, which was our random acts of kindness for the Random Acts nonprofit. And that's kind of what his curse is, that he turns into a werebear and he does random acts of kindness for people, which is super sweet.
I just think it's really funny because werebears are lawful good. So when they turn into bears, they must do it. They can't not do it.
I didn't even realize that they're lawful good creatures.
Yeah. They're lawful good creatures. That's the reason.
Oh my gosh.
He's going against his own nature of being an asshole.
I love taking that detail and like really exaggerating it. So it's like you're going out of your way to be lawful good. Yeah, folks in chat are also surprised that there's a lawful good lycanthrope.
Yeah.
Love it. Adore it.
I have it right here.
Oh my gosh. The bear must care. It's a tough curse. Chat
it's
says.
Bear. Yay!
It is a Care Bear.
I'd like to rename the encounter, if I may.
The Care Bear. Very sweet. And I will say, just hearing you talk about what interests you in design or in DMing, that even if your approach was very different in a 15-minute challenge, it highlighted aspects of design that you're interested in, kind of like a focus on one particular NPC. It all kind of surrounds like this mystery around him, so that's very cool. If you had time to like actually sit down and develop this more, or maybe you will, what is like one thing you would have expanded on?
Dialogue pieces, like things to read aloud or the DM to kind of see and paraphrase from. I feel like a lot of personality to the NPCs especially can come through dialogue pieces. And it's not even the fact that the DM has to use them, but if you write the dialogue well enough, you can see like, oh, I see what kind of sassy person this is. Like, you can kind of get a feeling for the personality.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was very important with someone like this who is supposed to be, when the characters meet him for the first time, be very standoffish and not really that charismatic or nice to talk to. So I really want to elevate that to make sure they understand he's not a nice person, he's not a good person. So it's even more satisfying to see, oh, so you're the one doing all the things that you don't want to be doing to the city.
Oh, I love that.
Fantastic.
Jen posted something really wonderful in the chat, which is that Grindel should have a shape shaved into his belly fur. I love it.
Boy.
All right. So we've got our lovely Care Bear encounter. Not, honestly, what I was expecting with the Let's Make a Deal theme. But you know what? I think sometimes those are the best stories in D&D and on DM's Guild Design Dash. But we're going to move along to JB, who I will unread your encounter. There we go. JB, walk us through it.
Okay. So, just keep in mind for the design process for me, what I like to do is 2 bookends and then 1 thing in the middle, right?
Okay.
So my 2 bookends were the deal was going to be a deal like leave me alone in exchange for treasure, leave me alone in exchange for something, right? And I did not get that bookend up in time. And then the first bookend is location. And I've been writing for Avernus, so it just kind of stuck in my head. So
Okay, cool.
go with that. Essentially, this quest starts out in Avernus at the Bronze Citadel, which is a really cool location in the little history and lore of Baator that I was looking at. There's a single spire that juts from the ground like a gleaming nail of silvery metal. And I've always found that whenever you show your players something that's different, they interact with it almost every single time. There's a sprawling village and 1 weird tower. And they're like, I want to go to that weird tower. What's in that weird tower, though? You know? Inside, I basically run through with the Forgotten Princess all the way down to the table. I run down how to get inside, that there's a portcullis and how to get through. You know, I want to set up that vibe of an encounter. This place does not want you there, you know? So if they do manage to get inside and all of that, they go through different rooms in the tower, which are populated by these weird little critters and creatures all over the place. Like an infernal nipper, a creature that I made recently that's basically a hell badger that just goes around and nips on dead stuff. Infernal pigs, a parrot named Squawk that speaks common and infernal, some imps doing a drinking game. So when I hit this part that I was writing, for some reason the idea that this is a princess tower kind of took over. So I started leaning into it, a princess in hell, like a displacer beast wearing a bonnet who's chained to a bedpost in a palatial manor suite. Or rats that wear cloth hats and mend fabric. So I'm just thinking about this idea of...
Very Cinderella.
Yeah, twisting the Cinderella Rapunzel story to fit in hell. The tower's top is where I was going to spend most of my time and did not really get there. Again, reinforcing the idea that you're not supposed to be here. A locked wooden door, a lot of HP, high DC to dispel the magic. But if they do push through, they're met with a room of an extravagant bedroom filled with filth and macabre displays of violence, such as flayed hands adorning bedposts, a severed gnome's head atop a silver mirror, and a bucket of human teeth next to a gargantuan bed. Laying atop the bed, hungrily shoveling these human teeth into their mouth,
like
is a porcelain-skinned beauty named Princess Snoose. She is a revenant that carries a greatsword that is propped up next to the bed, and she is also a fairly high-level spellcaster. So, past this is a lot of the design I didn't get to.
Oh no! Oh
she
gosh,
was going
Cat
to
almost
make
sat on your design.
She is going to make a deal with the party to exchange goods or services from her spellcasting stuff, including 2 friendly imps that will accompany the party if they give her one of their teeth. She wants them oh so fresh these days. And giving these devilish bargains from a princess who's this twisted mockery of what you would expect, even if she's super nice and loving, like, aren't you the most adorable adventurers I have ever seen? I love your incisors. Do you think you could part with a bicuspid in exchange for my +2 battle axe? You know, kind of thing.
No, I don't like this.
I feel like there should be some sort of consequence to giving up your tooth. Because I know some people who would be like, oh, I'll absolutely give you my tooth, but it's like she always knows where you are. I don't know.
Almost always there's going to be something like that. Like, she can just sending to you all day. What are you doing, my new friend? Please stop messaging me. I'm lonely in this tower. Come and visit me again.
Oh, so a grandma.
I mean, she is old. She could just be knitting things in there all day, nibbling on teeth. Who knows?
Oh, Dice Ogre says she's a fallen tooth fairy. Plastic Cage plays. It's a tooth fairy of the lake.
And the lake of love. She's a werebear companion. He keeps cleaning the place.
From the love pond.
Yeah, the love ponds. That's great.
So I have a similar question for you, since this is your first time on Design Dash. And I imagine maybe there's other scenarios someone would have to design something in 15 minutes. But what was this experience? What was this experience like for you? Did you try to approach it as you normally would an adventure, or was it wildly different like it was for Anne?
I attempted, because I watched the first Design Dash and I heard everyone say that it was vastly different from how they normally do things, I tried to do it as I would normally create a little encounter or adventure that I'm going to sprinkle into a quest. And I think that's why it's so front-ended. I didn't get enough of the design spread throughout because I wasn't aware of that time. Well, I was aware, but I didn't take into account that time crunch. But yeah, this is kind of how I try to create adventures, is the 2 bookends, fill in the middle with one interesting detail, and just see how it kind of grows. So when I hit the midway point and I hit that chart, I was like, I want to make a creepy princess. And then that formed the rest of the adventure for me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that you kind of got halfway through and then the concept really jumped out at you. Is that typical when you design things?
Absolutely. Like, every time I sit down, I'm not plugging my own stuff. Every time I sit down and start writing quests and things, I'm like, what's one person? What are they doing? And then I'll just kind of, I don't know, maybe they're picking radishes or something. What would be weird to see if you're picking radishes? A black dragon. And then I just kind of move from there. How would they react? How would this spiral out of control? And then just build it backwards, like, naturally. That's how I attempt to do things anyway.
What would you say you would have changed from the beginning if you had more time and could, like, once you got your concept, if you went back and adjusted the parts you'd already written?
100% of my effort when writing encounters and adventures is, why are they there? And I did not give that in this because, Bronze Citadel's a hard place to go to, but if they were called by an imp, or if she sent a rat to come and fetch them and just wanted to check out their lovely little teeth, something like that. Give them a reason to kind of go there.
Goodness. Matt, I want to ask if you have any questions for JB, but I also, the Willy Boo in chat with these awesome little one-liners, the tooth scary versus the caring mare. Like, I love it.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions about the table and the rooms. If you had more time, would you have expanded on the individual rooms or the options available to
Yes,
players?
I would have expanded on all of the rooms and the options. Because each one of them, what I like to do is take a table, give it a headline for each option, then explain the option below. So, like, why is this displacer beast tied to a bedpost? I would give reasons for that below it. So you could read it and then expand on it for the adventure. Like, it was a handmaiden who turned into a displacer beast, and they had to chain her up there so she could keep doing her work. Now she does it with little tenderly things.
Oh, I love it. Let's see, Grinning Grig in chat says, I picture all of the rats as being toothless, which is an amazing, creepy detail. And I also...
She chews up stuff for them? That's gross.
Yeah, because she's taken all of their teeth from them, maybe when she's gotten low on her bonbons. And I love that. I feel like this speaks to 2 things. That chat keeps coming up with their own amazing ideas. One, I think it speaks to, even in just 15 minutes, y'all so far have created these adventures that have these amazing little details that are very creative creative and flavorful and inspiring for people, which is, I think, one amazing thing about Dungeon Masters Guild. People like approach D&D with all sort of different ideas and their own styles, and it's very much inspiration for Dungeon Masters. Even if you get an adventure and you don't necessarily run it page to page, but just like harvest it for your own ideas, very valuable. I think it also speaks to just like the creativity of chat. I know there's some Dungeon Masters Guild people in the chat right now, so that's just very fun. Someone, role players, just got very excited that you are in chat. You are competing, JB. They said yes with lots of extra letters.
Yeah.
All right. So moving along to our return champion, no pressure, is Jen Vaughn. And before we jump into the rundown, I want to know, Jen, was it different coming on a second time?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you feel more prepared, or?
It's very different because new set of challengers with different strengths, but also the element of adding the table, I laser focused on that, possibly too much. So
I'm looking forward to a really awesome random table now.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you all about Let's Make a Meal.
Oh.
So in true nerd fashion, I just started off with a quote. So I put many moons ago in a far off place from a Gershwin goblin from some musical. So yeah, sorry, TM, the Gershwin brothers. And this being different than how I normally design, I wanted to start the party off in like a moment of action, basically, because short encounter, we want like a reason to be there. So your party wakes up cramped and sweating. Each of you is standing on a tooth the size of a chair. I guess JB and I are the same person. So
okay, so interesting. Someone had said something about a number of teeth should have been on the rubric. I didn't realize that this was going to be a very competitive section of the rubric. Continue.
Listen, this challenge is very toothsome. So
minus 2 points.
Oh no. So as the party looks around, their hands cramping, they realize that they are all standing on top of a bottom row of a dragon's set of teeth, holding the top set from crushing them. So, and then they must make a strength check. The background is they have been investigating a local fisherman's plight of only pulling up these dead cooked fish from their fishing nets. So when the party goes to follow the signs to a cave, they immediately black out and show up inside the mouth of this dragon, or well, they're not sure what it is at the time. So there's
what a place to start.
Yeah, there's like this giant stained tongue lolling around in the mouth trying to get at them. So I like to reward mercy a lot in games, or not killing. So the dragon can be persuaded to let you out of its mouth if you perform a random act. For the dragon, you'll soon find out is Bertrand the Red Dragon, who's just who could be bored or in pain, depending on what the random roll is. So on my table, you roll to see what action you'll perform to not be eaten. And so one of them is you must pull a carriage of decomposing skeletons on all fours around the lair. But then with that, each thing on the table actually will lead you into a longer adventure. So this is sort of like maybe like the party's first encounter together and what leads them into their long-term campaign. So the decomposing adventuring party is actually another group of heroes, and they still have a summons or a quest list that they never fulfilled. So you can take it from them and continue it. If you roll 4 to 6, the party must pull a rotting tooth from the dragon's mouth, and I guess go and give it to JB's character down there.
Deliver this to Beator.
Deliver unto Beator this rotting tooth. So this tooth, they will find out, though, if they keep it, is cursed. And the group will be hounded by lizard folk for the next 10 days as they try to figure out, or, a week, as they try to figure out what to do with this tooth. If they roll a 7 to 10, the party must venture into the belly of Bertrand the Red Dragon and kill the paladin inside. Or, possibly not kill the paladin based on their actions. This paladin's Sibylline, and she's been trapped in the dragon's belly for weeks. You can tell because she's like carved out numbers on the lining of the stomach. The stomach acid has no effect on her, so that's why she's been able to be in there. So she could be a quest giver of some kind. If you roll 11 to 14, the party must take a scale from the dragon and deliver them as threats to their old clutch mates from when they were growing up. So that could lead like a multi-dragon adventure. And yeah,
multi-dragon.
Yeah. So I've been playing for years and I've never met a dragon. So I was just like, let's start off this inside the dragon. We'll just be in it. To deliver the scales, or each person will lose a spell. And then the last and probably least appealing to some people, the party must help deliver an egg that's halfway stuck out of the dragon. And if they, do a successful nature check.
Sounds uncomfortable.
Oh, no, don't believe me. I don't know anything about that. It's got
I thought about this long and hard.
It's called ovipositing, and we don't need to yuck other people's yums, but successful nature check or medicine check, and you can tell that the dragon in it is an undead, and unleash its own personal brand of health inside this cave. But I think for me, the thing that in our Mad Dash, Design Dash, I didn't get to do beautiful descriptions of the cave or any fail states, honestly, for a lot of, well, I mean, I've had some, but I feel like if the party did nothing, like what would Bertrand do? Well, eat them, I guess. But yeah, and I didn't get to do any the flowery language and things that to give Bertrand personality.
Mm-hmm.
So
we need to be on D&D design marathon.
Yeah,
can we do that?
Yeah.
A charity stream where we just design for 24 hours straight.
That would be really fun. And it's part 1 is the outline, and part 2 you expand on certain parts.
Throw something we have to include.
Oh my gosh.
Then you throw it towards an editor, and that editor cries.
Has 15 minutes to cry.
We each have to edit each other's.
Oh.
Good luck.
That's like
24-hour period. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, someone is comparing it to Great British Bake Off. Love it. Where there's 3 different challenges. I actually really like this idea. We might figure out a way to make this happen.
Well, just so you know, JB, Ann, and I are ready to go. So.
Gosh, so you've mentioned what you would have done differently had you had more time. Is there any aspects of this design that you say are very typical to how you approach design that are reflected in even this 15-minute challenge?
I definitely don't shy away from things that people would normally consider gross. So I think that, this is fantasy, so we're going to have some fantasy poop and stuff. You don't know, maybe poop in Faerun is super sweet and full of diamonds. So
I mean, it is a dragon, so I feel like dragon poop would be full of diamonds.
I mean, they have to eat the gold. I mean, that's what the hoard's about, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It's like dinosaurs, how they have rocks to help pound up their food. So
Gosh, I'm kind of reaching the point where maybe we've been talking about this too much now.
Yeah.
That okay was okay, I agree to disagree.
My dragons don't have to poop because it's fantasy. No one in Faerun poops.
That's why there are no bathrooms.
There are no calories in food either.
Oh, boom. There we go.
Oh, that truly is a fantasy. Oh, man.
There'd be a lot more taffy pulling, so I just wanted to make sure that table was super sweet.
Yeah, that table is super sweet, and I'd say... So I'm running the Essentials kit right now, and basically it's Fandalen is this hub quest town, and you go on different quests. So I love that you've created this little concept where the hub quest town is inside a dragon's mouth. You could come back and do all of these.
Yeah, round robin this mouse. People put up their little,
Matt, do you have any questions for Jen?
Yeah, I was going to touch on the fact that you seeded multiple different adventures. Is this paladin someone that's appeared previously, or was a brand new NPC for this?
Nope, that's a brand new NPC, and I don't like playing paladin, so I'm that's the person that goes in.
Kill this paladin.
Sorry. I mean, I prefer to play other things.
I feel like with that you could even expand it to like having a whole map of the stomach and different effects that the tummy acid does. Maybe there's other things floating around in there.
Yeah,
Little
maybe if you like
kobold dentists.
Oh my god, go dentist!
gelatinous cube just like caught in the throat like mochi that you have to push past. Yeah. I'll make a new dungeon in this dragon.
Put
Do
my
like you
princess
can do
in
like a Russian nesting doll where there's a smaller dragon inside of the dragon, and then inside of that dragon there's an even smaller dragon.
It's just all dragons.
Alice in
And
Wonderland.
inside
Just
that
keep
dragon,
getting
there's a
deeper.
Dragon
Paladin who has
Inception.
a quest for you.
Yes. Yeah. This game would go on for 20 years given people's schedules, you know.
So I feel like with the nature of this challenge, all three of you kind of zeroed in on that random table element, and then your encounters kind of grew from there. How did you feel about doing that? Would you recommend that as like a brainstorming thing for people?
100%.
Yeah, agreed. It felt great to like have that element in there and like play with it.
You can make 1,000 bullet points and pull 6 that you like from it, like, and then just recycle the rest of them later. You know, that's a fantastic way to do it.
Have any of you actually done that sort of... Oh, I'm sorry, Anne, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's just like, this is actually a thing, like, nerd talk for a moment, like uni talk, but this is actually a thing that when you do design, I think we're taught that the more constraints you have, often the better design you're going to end up with in the end. So we're given a prompt called let's make a deal. It's like, okay, ideas are going around, but it's hard to zero in, and then you say, okay, there has to be a table. Okay, then all my ideas immediately got more narrow, and it's easier to pick one. So the more constraints you have, and the more you're designing for specific circumstances and with specific ideas in mind, the easier, at least for me, it is to design. So I really, really liked that there was a table.
Oh, good.
And it does, I will say, it does encourage the aspect of continuing to write, because a lot of people sometimes feel they have to be inspired to write, and people with deadlines know that you cannot wait for that. So it's the act of writing. Actually, even if it's just like, you know, you're writing out like, I'm gonna write really elaborate directions on how to get to my house from the movie theater, and like see like how spindly and odd you can make that. But like that act of writing will then, it's muscle memory. So you start building up those muscles, and like building the table, like let us like all sort of shoot off into different directions as well. Because we're flexing our brain muscle.
Yeah, for some of you it created this amazing like seeds for that encounter, or maybe even a bunch of different quests that even the DM could brainstorm. Do any of you have any products out there that started where you kind of created a prompt for yourself, and it grew from there? Or have all of them? Oh, Anne is nodding and smiling.
I had a single little like 1/2 page rule for someone being infected by a zombie virus, because I needed that for my campaign, which then suddenly, I don't know how, turned into a 140-page thing about how to run apocalypses in 5th edition Dungeons. Still not quite sure how that happened.
You like tripped and fell, and suddenly you had this giant gorgeous supplement.
Yeah, and suddenly the world was ending. I don't know.
I had to do it with my my 50 notice boards quest. What I did was I wrote 50 words and then made a quest from each word.
Ooh.
Oh, that's such a good
That's
idea.
a really
So it's
cool
like-
idea to approach that.
So it's like dust storm, and then I made a family that's like, please help us, there are faces in the dust, and you know.
It's fine.
I love that.
Seems normal.
Look, I'm spooky. I can't.
Oh.
For the Beyond the Basics Encounters book, we were given the names of beasts that we wanted to write, and I love gargoyles, so I was like, I want that one, or I need that. But then I basically like wrote down a bunch of things, and I was like, how would, like, if I didn't want to kill the gargoyle, or I didn't want the party to, but obviously there's always that option. I was like, what's the scariest thing I could think of, like in that situation that's semi-threatening but then endearing? And I was like, a gargoyle dad wants to teach their kid how to fly. So from there I was just kind of like, because you know kids will point out like how terrible you are, how you're not cool. I was just like, yeah, I'm terrified of little kids, so like this all works. Gargoyle, don't care about it. Little kids,
Queen!
absolutely.
Vote Jen.
Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, we have 1 minute left leading into Dragon Talk, which everyone should stick around for. Greg Tito and potentially, I think Shelly Moo's there again this week. So Greg and Shelly will be chatting with a comic book artist who's worked on the Wonder Woman comics and loves D&D. But let's go around and everyone do some outros, let people know where they can find you, and give us one sentence why. In the Twitter poll on @DMS_guild, people should vote for you to come back next month. This time we'll go backwards. We will start with Jen this time.
Hi, my name is Jen Vaughn. You can find me at the Jenya Online or every Tuesday night at mixer.com/VVSpaceship, where I play or run Jen Vaughn's Big Dungeon Show, playing all sorts of different RPGs. And you should vote for me because I love you all and I will find you.
Threats. They're a viable reason. JP.
Hi, I'm JB. @Drop the Die on Twitter is the best place to find me. You can also hop on my Discord. It's been a little quiet lately, so come in, breathe some life into it. Recently, I released Taverns, Inns, and Tap Rooms in Hell. It's like my baby, so go check that out. And you should bring me back next time if you thought that I was a good inclusion. That's the only reason.
Valid and like probably the most accurate. Excellent. I would say on our rubric that didn't count, Jen won largest teeth category, but JB won most teeth category. Anne.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Anne's Flashback, where I post random thoughts and ideas and sometimes inappropriate jokes and stuff like that. And you can find my content on DM's Guild. I recently actually did the layout for Beyond the Basics, which Jen has written for, and I was cackling the entire time I was doing the layout for that. And you should vote for me because I'll get sad if you don't.
Feelings, also valid. And I would say you have won most appropriate number of teeth that should be in an adventure, which is 0.
No one has teeth in her adventure?
No teeth.
Yeah, no teeth is always a good option.
Oh no! Oh, you made
I
it
have a question
spooky
for you.
again.
If it's a 3-way tie, do we all come back?
We will cross that bridge when we come to it. We will see what happens. I see shenanigans being planned. Matt.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. This was so much fun. And outside of DM's Guild, you can find me on Kickstarter right now. We have a creature collection for the Scarredlands campaign setting going right now. But I have multiple conventions next month, including Gamehole Con, which I'm really looking forward to. And thanks again.
Yeah, and I have been Lysa Penrose, community manager of Dungeon Masters Guild and a bunch of D&D things. You can find me at Merciful DM. Design Dash comes back every third Friday of the month, so we'll see who you all vote for to come back next time. Look out for that Twitter poll going up in a few minutes at DMS_guild. And stick around for Dragon Talk coming up next. Bye, everybody!
Thank you.